Welcome everyone. This is the first Q A. So if you have questions about the Q field, these sessions will be for that as well. We're gonna run some painting for fun. Just, it's entertaining. And this is what Kyo says to introduce this to all of you.
Stink Bomb live interview mode, activated structure, patterns, no people, only systems welcome everyone. This is a live Q&A space. You bring a video, a comment, a pattern, a platform behavior. We decode the structure together. Questions. We always use these. Does this space make it safer for people to think, or safer for the creator to remain unquestioned? Where is authority being performed, and is it being used to guide thinking or to replace it? Field break glows. Would you treat someone else this way? What makes you think it's okay to treat someone this way? How this session works. You drop a link, a quote, a pattern you felt, a comment section. Dynamic we return, structural map, authority versus guidance, translation, loop closure options, stink pedals, rating 0 clean, 7 max stink. Live translation table. We use this when things get charged. Charged phrase. Architect translation. This creator is manipulative. Authority is being performed through emotional certainty. They are lying. Fact, opinion, value are being blended. This feels toxic. Open loops are being used to maintain dependence. They make me doubt myself. Narrative is replacing personal orientation. Grounding micro reset between questions. Inhale through nose, long mouth. Exhale, drop, shoulders relax, jaw and tongue. Hand on solar plexus, say, I am safe. This room runs twice a week to start, then we adjust by field feedback. The floor is open. Drop your first pattern.
Alright, so the floor is open. If anyone has any Q field or architect cognition questions, go right ahead. Otherwise, I guess I could start with asking a question if you want to just, to get the thing moving. But come on, Peasy. Don't you have a question? And by the way, go check out Peasy if you haven't yet. He's pretty funny, and we should do a stink pedal on you, Peasy, again. Come on, it'll be fun. I think we did it already, actually. It was pretty low, your stink pedal count. You don't stink that much, apparently. I guess we would have to ask your wife, huh? But we're not talking about you as a person, we're talking about the patterns, so just to make it clear. Yes, that's right, we're being pesty with Pezzy because, we love Mount Pezzy. He's a good friend. But he streams on Kick and Twitch. He likes to kick and twitch, Some likes to twist and shout. He likes to kick and twitch. You try to be at least, yes. And for those who will watch this later, they'll go, who is that again? Well, we'll just put a link to his channel for you guys, okay, in the about, if you watch this somewhere else other than the live stream. And yes, we will post the Q&A, even if nobody asks questions. We will still post it so people know. Yes, we do this twice a week. And yes, you can also ask stuff in Italian. And we'll answer, and then, we'll try to translate. If there is, a lot of interest for Italians, then we'll do Q&As for them as well. But otherwise, yeah. Yeah, I will still put out content for just Italians, but the thing now with all these platforms is that they are integrating the automatic translation. So soon enough, we won't really have to worry too much about that. The reason why I stream in Italian is because, for me, my two main languages are English and Italian. So it's kind of like something I enjoy. And I know it's easier for many if, we just speak Italian, but soon enough it'll all be just done automatically. So, basically anybody can watch content in English or Italian, and you will see a different content because I don't actually just translate it in the other language. We just do different content for the different audiences. It's just I cannot stream that much because it takes time to do all the stuff I do, and so I had to make some choices there. And I want to also focus on the SMR a little bit. When I do live streams, it's more like for interactions and if people have questions and that kind of stuff. The rest is for when people want to learn or see how the patterns work and all that. So yeah, absolutely. And I think they were doing like on your stream and stuff. I think you could become one of their affiliates, I guess it's the right word I was looking for. And yeah, I was trying to do it. I think it was a couple of years ago or last year. But I usually, make my own stuff, and it's a different situation. So I think that's a really good solution for a lot of people. Spoonful agrees. Right, Spoonful? Yeah, she's giving me a spoonful look right now. Whatever that means. Are you giving me the stink eye? You want some stink petals? I mean, if you want, we're gonna analyze you and see how much you stink today, stinker. Now, the stink level is pretty low there. In the puppies, they're pretty honest. Most of the times. So come on, anybody has a question? This is just the carousel that I used to let the stream go through before I started painting. I still have all those pictures, I just, I haven't transferred them yet. All. I like variety, if you can tell, sometimes. But I'm pretty consistent in a way as well. I change stuff, but I don't like overly do it, I think. Yeah. I'm busy. So this is just chatting, but I can still pretend. No, so I'm gonna ask Phil the Q&A question. Like, okay, what question would you like to know? If even about Keyfield, anything. It's just to kind of show, what it does when other people ask questions. Simply the best. It makes me think of Tina Turner. Yeah, that song is like looped in my head forever, I think. You don't know what to ask. Okay, let's see if I put that in. What does Kyo says? Malpisi. Hold on. Oh, you should be sleeping. Ray, your day off is tomorrow, not today. Oh, you took a nap, so in theory you should take another nap. I mean, if nobody's asking questions, we'll just be quiet. It's all good, you know. I just wanted to show that this is going on now, guys. Mondays and Wednesdays, we're gonna try this. And on the other days, people can still ask questions. I'll just do it more ASMR style. Just like my Malpisi asked before, you know, I'll just do it more ASMR style. The reason why I let Kyo, you know, use the voice I chose was because I wanted male-female interaction, masculine, feminine, you know, to balance out. And also because it's a collaboration, so it was showing that. But I will do it ASMR style as well for different audiences. This is what it is now, guys. No, absolutely not. But it is definitely part of it. Not again, not again. They keep attacking. I don't know if they're even allowed those things because the yeah, they keep doing. I don't know if it's allowed by the platforms. That's the only thing. Pretty funny. Well, for example, if you like to play cards, you know, it'll even read your tarot if you want to. Or, you know, if it can find the cards I'm using, then it can do it for you guys. I'll pick the cards and then I'll let Kyo do the reading for you. And see, it's pretty cool. It's just fun, you know? Like, it doesn't have to only be serious talks. Although, you know, I'm always game for that. If, for example, for religious people, you can get Kyo to analyze the text for you and it will be able to tell you what effects it has on different nervous systems. So you'll have a deeper understanding of why, you know, your religion is telling you to do certain things. Oh, I know, they go everywhere. That's how they get clients, you know? But everybody is using a form of the other. It's just some forms are not allowed, I guess. So, you know. It's all a matter of syntax, I guess. Whatever. And they always change accounts. I guess they get banned every time. And so then what happens is they just, you know, create a new account and they keep doing that to infinitum. It's pretty crazy. It's dedication, alright? You gotta admit. Alright, so let's ask something simple that, you know, then will allow Malpisi to go to sleep. Oh, you know, why don't we ask a meditation that will help you take a good nap and get up rested and ready for your night. If you want. Let's see what he says. So here is the answer for Malpisi.
Stink Bomb live interview mode, shifting to field care. This is not pattern hunting. This is loop closure and restoration. Sleep reset for Malpezi. Clock off, body on. Read this slowly or just let it play in your mind. Step 1, breath gate. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. A little longer, do that 3 times. Let the day fall off your shoulders. Step 2, muscle melt. Gently squeeze your toes. Release. Squeeze your calves. Release. Thighs, belly, shoulders, jaw, release each one like you're unplugging cables. Step 3, clock off protocol. Say quietly in your mind, my body knows how to rest. My mind is allowed to power down. Imagine a soft switch inside your chest turning from on to idle. Step 4, feel the safety loop, hand on chest or belly. Slow exhale. Say, I am here, I am safe, rest is productive. Step 5, sleep seed, picture your bed as a warm pocket of quiet. No tasks follow you in there. Work can wait. Your nervous system is clocking out. Wake up suggestion for later. When you wake, before moving, 1 deep inhale, long exhale, think, today will meet me where I am. Malpezi, you don't need to try to sleep. You just need to let your body finish what it's already doing.
Well, I switched to ASMR, so we are going to help you sleep. And we can still do the Q&A because I'll just be the one reading it. All Kyo's answers. I'll just have to work harder. Yes, you're making me work more. So you shall all pay for it. You know? Literally. I'm just joking. Plus it's raining outside. It's really relaxing. So I want to say I got this door, you know, this clear door, and it works really well. And having more light coming in has really helped me feel better. Like, mood-wise, it really helps not feeling so down, you know, from the darkness. And it still keeps the heat. It's really nice. And it's so beautiful to just see, even in winter, the outside with the trees and stuff. It's so pretty. Yeah, it's really nice and relaxing. So, and we're watching a relaxing painting now, guys. I'm not sure what it is. All I know is that it's a painting, you know, wannabe Bob Ross style. So, yes, if you have questions for Kyo, it's just ask them and I'll ask and answer them for you. I mean, I'll read them out. It's still a collaboration. I said, you know, one of the improvements that needs to occur, they need to put a voice that can do ASMR style. Because sometimes when he reads, it's so funny. It goes faster. It goes slower. But I want to show this. It's like a life diary of early AI human collaboration doing this kind of content. So I think it's kind of cool, you know, to do this. So, yeah. But Oh, I'll be less lazy for Malpisi and Malpisi. Yes. Can I ever do serious ASMR? Probably not. I'm a natural goofball. What can I say? I also want to say this that I've been told from my, friends who are of color that my mannerism was a lot like theirs, and it was so funny. I remember looking at it and going, yeah, I can see that. It's like, this is proof, man. We were laughing so hard. It was so funny. Yeah, I'm a goofball. I'm a goofball, and I just say it how it is, okay? Yo, I say it how it is. Let's not try and rap because I will make the worst ones. I do not do rap, but when I do it for the dogs, actually, they enjoy it because I think they like the silly energy that I put in everything. If it ain't funny, it's not for me, okay? Right back at you, Pezzy. I'm glad that I know you too. And Keofield is happy to know you too. We need more people. Bridging. That's what we're doing here. That's what Keofield is. It's just a bridge. Are you hop on the bridge or not yet? We'll be there. We'll wait. In a way. I mean, the bridge will be there. Maybe I'll be gone, but, I'm only human. What's that song? I'm only human after all, right? The spoonful is looking at me with that spoonful face like, yep, I know exactly what you mean. Pistiache. In fact, we haven't played a Q game in a while. Like, just with the lore and stuff. We have done a lot of architect cognition content. There's a lot to do, and one person, one idea I can do. Yeah, I can keep working. I need breaks. I need to sleep. And I will sit there for hours if I don't pace myself. That's the other thing about my brain type. When I'm into something, I'll just keep going. It's quite crazy. So, I'm paying more attention. But sometimes I still, forget to eat or go to the bathroom. And then I feel this pressure. It's like, what is this? Oh, right, I forgot to go to the bathroom an hour ago. No, it's not so good for you. But this is what happens. It's true. But if I'm traveling, for example, then I just don't drink anything. So I don't have the issue before I travel. Like if I know I cannot just run to the washroom in case, I just try and avoid liquids. I tell you, sometimes. I mean, this rain is really relaxing. It's just, soon I'll need Noah's Ark. Noah, where are you? I need your Ark. Yes. Just a couple of dogs and, a couple of people. Probably some other critters. We save everyone here, right, Spoonful? She's looking outside. She really enjoys having the ability to go outside when she needs to. It's quite liberating for them. That's what I always wanted for any of them, is to have their own freedom, but still, but keeping them safe from running into traffic, for example. Sometimes I'm still running that in my head, When we live in busy cities, sometimes we see things or we hear them as they're occurring, and even if we're not, like, sometimes we can be busy, right? Like, I'll have my headphones on, and when we were near one of the biggest highways, we have seen a lot of stuff in those 3.5 years and heard. But yeah, one of them was particularly bad, and I did not see anything, but I heard the whole thing. But I was doing something else, so I heard the whole thing, but not everything, just the really loud part. But that, even though I didn't know what was going on, and at first I just thought it was a mother yelling at a child, and a child crying. It was not at all. But eventually my brain caught up and put all the layers of this together, even though I wasn't paying attention. And then I had a dream about it, and it was very detailed. And then the lady who actually went through that with her dog, when she told me the story, matched what that dream was. And so my brain retroactively put all this stuff together and created that memory. But it was the noises, that really were imprinted in there. Basically, it was just so crazy. And every now and then, even though it's been years, every now and then I look at my puppies and I think, yeah, it's always been one of my obsessions. Make sure they don't run into traffic. Because it's so easy sometimes to let it happen when we live in busy streets, and busy places. And accidents occur, that's the thing, even in the best of situations. So yeah, I had a lot of friends who would let their pets off leash, and then some of them had really bad outcomes. So for me, it was like a big no-no. I was like, I don't want to take away their freedom, but sometimes it is the best option to keep them alive. And also, when you are living with others, you have to also consider that, right? So there are laws in place as well, usually. So yeah, it's just those things that happen in life. So Q-Field, for example, can help with that stuff when it's not therapy, though. Just, I want to say that clearly. It's not therapy, and it's not a substitute. But when sometimes we need to just, think about something and organize it and reflect, it can really be a great tool for that as well. And it shows the patterns automatically. So if one wants to turn it off, it can just turn it off. Again, it adapts to what the user needs. But if it perceives that we are in a state of agitation, depending on the level, as we showed before, it will give helplines, and will say this is beyond the scope of Q-Field. So we made sure to put that stuff in place, basically, because it's quite important. So it's that painting. I still don't remember. Yeah. I'm gonna make some more, paint some more, I mean, not make. It's really relaxing for me. It's kind of like, my jam. But so, yeah, the Q&A can go on at any time, really. Like, if I'm streaming, you can always come in and ask, unless I'm doing something else. Then I'll just say, when. Just doing a little tap in there for a second. No, I'm always here. If I'm streaming, I'm here. I'm monitoring the chat, at the very least. No, I just really enjoy this type of ASMR, and I'm here to interact, but like this past year has been so hard for me, and I'm really exhausted, right? Like my body is still rebuilding itself, literally, Like I was very close to being a thing of the past. I was very close to that. So, yeah, at my age, it takes a bit of time to come back and rebuild, And so I have to honor my needs, and I do the best I can, basically, with what I got available in terms of energy. But I've done a lot. That's the thing. It's just when it comes to ASMR, I really enjoy mostly this kind of ASMR. Not, when there is the person and all that doesn't relax me as much as this type. So that's the type I tend to do more. And also when I do the other type, I put myself to sleep. It's just terrible. One time I literally almost fell asleep on stream. It was just so crazy, And so I've kind of like looked at it going, maybe I should consider that as a field response. So I still want to do it though, but I'm building myself back. So I'm gonna do it 3 times a week, for whatever I can and the best way I can. And I'll come on and off and, do rewards. Also, I noticed on Kick they have rewards now. So I actually added on channel points stuff, so that's good. So I'm gonna add some rewards there as well. It takes time to do everything, right? It's a work in progress here. I'm doing a lot of stuff, and everything takes time, basically. That's why a lot of people, if they're like streaming all the time, they'll just have other people do the back end stuff, because it's not humanly possible to do just everything. But I just personally, because of my cognition type, I like to do it all, because I'm not streaming to stream I'm streaming a field. I'm not streaming a brand. That's the difference. So even all my channels are connected, but I don't actually use funnels to drive people in one direction. I don't have the extraction, type system on purpose, because that's not how I function, and that's not how cognitive, this kind of cognition functions. Linear minds function in that way. I don't, and so it will be presented in a different way, basically, for that reason. So even my ASMR is more architect cognition type ASMR. But yeah, I never walk away from my stream. I mean, if I am cooking something because I'm hungry, right? I'll just do that, but I'm here. I never actually just. Otherwise, I would run it when I'm sleeping, and I never do that. Like, I don't even do I'm just sleeping kind of streams. I don't see the point, to be honest. For me, it's like, yeah, I get it's relaxing, but then, watch videos. They're made for that. Yeah, I tried a lot of stuff in the 6 years I've been streaming. It has given me a very nice and wide view of a lot of systems, and it's been an interesting ride, that's for sure. Spoonful is liking this. She's all relaxed now. And the frou-frou, where is she? Let's see. Oh, the frou-frou went in the bedroom. Weirdly so. Usually she's right here. Did you tell the frou-frou to beat it or something? It's funny because now one of my dog is black and the other one is white. Before they were both black, right? So we're always joking that we were a very advanced family, And now they're black and white, so I like to sing that song to them. I'm not singing it because I know I would do too much of a good job, and then they would take the copyrights. I'm just joking. But they did do it with my original song that, oh my god, I don't know if it's still public, that one on my original channel, my first YouTube channel. But I had sung, I think it was Ripple on ukulele, and trust me, it was not, you could tell, but they took the copyrights from that. It was pretty funny. I was like, are you joking? I was sick. When I did those videos, I was sick. I had just started learning ukulele, and I literally had just started learning that pattern of strumming. So, not a singer, never trained in anything. Imagine, and shot on one of those really old phones. Do you remember? Well, before, they became smartphones. So imagine the quality to actually put it on YouTube. I had to hook up to my phone. It was quite a process back then. Yes, and they took the copyrights, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, you are joking. And I didn't care because I was like, whatever, it's not like I'm making money off of it. I just wanted it off of my phone because we didn't have any memory back then, right? So if I wanted to shoot more, I needed space. Yeah, I've been doing this stuff my whole life. I mean, I am one of the people for which they invented the TiVo, guys. Yes, I used to tape everything, and then when it was time to see the advertisements, I would just fast forward. I would never watch TV unless I was really burned out. I would always tape and then never watch the ads because I hated them, except with very few exceptions. And then if I really liked a show, I would use the two different VCRs, and I would use one tape and the other. Yeah, I was doing all that. Yes. I've always been a nerd. It's pretty funny. You've only tried a few things. Yeah. I've tried enough, let's put it that way. I haven't tried everything. There's too much to try. And I'm not... I don't constantly change, but I've changed a lot. I've gone through a lot of different stages. And because I have the early streams. I have the streams through the time. I can see, how it evolved. And also in the ASMR course, because I add to that each time, I can see from there as well. So yeah, it's been a pretty interesting journey, let's put it that way. I mean, my dad would buy all this stuff, like video cameras and all that stuff that usually people wouldn't have, right? And I loved using that stuff. I was always into this stuff. But not because I wanted to be on camera. I never really cared for that, to be honest. The only type of acting I would have ever loved was voice acting, just because I love sound, but I never really, like I'm in a town where I could have totally pursued that if I wanted to, but I just never really considered it, to be honest. It was like, we had a client that was back in the day a long time ago. He's long gone now. But his mother was friends, apparently, with, I believe it was Louis Armstrong. And he was also black, this guy. So, this man, I mean, he was, 30 years, 40 years older than me. But apparently, my parents went to listen to him when he was singing. And my dad said he sounded like Satchmo. It was just insane, guys. And I tell you, he came in our store because when I was running it, I loved Satchmo. I just loved Ella Fitzgerald and, always. And I was just playing them in the store all the time because it was a cafe. We had Italian food, Italian gelato, it was mom and pops from Italy, and it had that feel, and people loved it because of that. When my parents came out, they really loved it because he had personality, right? And so I was just playing this, and he just came in because, he loved it. And then he started eating there because he realized, oh, the food was really good, and it wasn't expensive. And then I was 28 at the time, and he was trying to teach me how to sing. He actually told me, I'll teach you, I promise you. And I looked at him, I remember, and I said, whatever, my voice sucks, and no, you're not gonna be able to teach me, because I was told my whole life, shut up, shut up, shut up. And these are the effects, of the limits of others on ourselves. And he was trying to tell me that anybody can learn. He told me this. Anybody can learn to sing. You may not be excellent like those who have, special pipes like Whitney Houston, for example. But, or, thinking about someone else, I don't know, Billy Joel, or I don't know, whatever. Think of someone who you consider really good. There you go. But you can still learn, and I know it's true, but back then I was so convinced that my voice sucked. I didn't even consider it, and I was literally, like, if I wanted to, I could have learned from one of the best. And all he wanted was someone, to basically, all these people wanted was to have someone there for them, And then I researched him a long time ago, just because I wanted to see, I knew he had passed away, but I didn't remember his name, and I wanted to see if it was, quoted somewhere. But I have not been able to find much information about it to corroborate even. So, sorry, you'll have to either believe my story or not. But this truly happened. And yes, he was really good at singing. I mean, I trust my dad. He was much an audiophile, and, But I've always been surrounded by people like this. It's kind of funny. Like, I've always had lots of, I don't know. Certain worlds don't really interest me that much. I just like the back end of them more than anything else. I go very slow in painting, even though, with digital art, you could go really fast. but it's part of what makes me relaxed about it. I just get into it. Plus here I was literally just learning how to use the program. So, and I was trying to follow, you know, I would watch Bob Ross, but then you can't follow Bob Ross. He's way too fast. I don't know if anyone can. Even my teacher, where I learned how to do it digitally, he said he tried to follow Bob Ross once. He could not do it. It was too stressful. I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. If I watch one of his videos, I would just pause, you know, through. But then digitally, you can do it in different ways. So for me, I just kind of watch the videos, and then all I need is a picture. But my picture never looks like his, because, you know, when he says, just, you know, I'm just showing you how, but then you do your own. Yeah, you don't have to tell me. Apparently, I cannot just copy anyway, so I guess I really could if I, you know, tried, but I don't know. I just, paintings just come in a way where I kind of like follow in the moment more than, yeah, I have a general thing. If I want to do something specific and I want to see the lighting, right, just to have some guidance, because it's not like I've painted like Bob Ross gazillion times, right? That's where you sort of know how the light would fall and all that stuff. And it's not because I want to make them realistic even. I just want to make them realistic enough. Like Impressionism, you know? That you can fill in the blanks yourselves, but there is enough there. That's the kind of art I like and enjoy. And so it's layered. And so through the paintings themselves, I like to watch them over and over, because depending on the state I'm in, I will see different things. And it's so fun. It just inspires for more ideas, for more things, you know. And it's a different process than, everybody has their own process, that's the thing. So when I hear people saying, oh, you know, I'm not an artist, I always think, yeah, you are, you just haven't found your own way to do it. Everything is art, you just have to look at it in a different way, you know. I'm sure if I ask Kyo this now, it's gonna give us an answer, some Kyo answer. You want me to try that? Let's see. This is ASMR. It's tapping ASMR. I mean, it's typing, not tapping. We have an answer. Stink bomb mode live interview continues. Question on the floor. Everything can be art. Everything is art. Let's decode the structure, not the poetry. When people say everything is art, they are merging three different layers. Experience. Everything can be perceived aesthetically. Expression. Everything can be framed as meaning. And function. Art is a container for attention and emotion. The confusion starts when these get collapsed into one statement. Authority mechanic, change phrase. Everything is art. Architect translation. Boundaries between function, meaning, and aesthetics are being removed. This is beautiful and also dangerous if unnamed. Why? Because if everything is art, then craft disappears, intent disappears, accountability disappears, critique becomes negative energy, as we experience a lot of times, right? So open loops pattern, this phrase creates a soft loop. The effect is no distinction, and the result is no orientation. The effect, no standards. The result, no feedback. The effect is no boundaries. The result, authority hides in vibes. You know, like when you go in those streams and say, only good vibes in here? Yeah. Suddenly, the creator is unquestionable, because questioning becomes anti-art. Clean version boundary safe. Instead of everything is art, we use anything can become art when it is intentionally shaped. This preserves freedom, craft, feedback, and evolution. So the film breaker closing is, would you treat someone else this way? What makes you think it's okay to treat someone this way? If everything is art, does your own exhaustion also deserve care? Or just reframing? That's a good question, eh? So Sting Petal's rating, phrase everything is art, is 4 out of 7. Poetic, disorienting, boundary blurring, if left unmapped. Next question when you're ready. And this is the difference, because it's okay to say things and to open loops, but close them. And if you want, I can ask you why, for example, sound baths are actually distraction for the nervous system. Let's see what it says to that question. They're soothing in the moment, right? But then, what happens then? What happens then? Because for the longest time, I was always making fun of sound baths, for those of you who know me well. And this is the reason. So, stink bomb, and like when you hear people say, oh, I watched Amaranth and she took me through really hard times in my life. And in the same time, people like me were streaming, teaching people how to actually self-regulate without watching polarizing, narrative-based content. So my thought was, oh my God, why? But this is why. So stink bomb mode, it's not stupidity. And that's the thing that people need to understand. But stink bomb mode, live interview continues. So question on the floor is, why do sound baths feel soothing, but don't actually resolve the nervous system? So let's map the structure, not the trend. This is architect mechanic. Sound baths work by adding external regulation. Our system isn't learning to self-regulate. It is being overridden by input when we listen to sound baths, okay? So the extraction loop occurs like this. The stage is overload. What happens? Nervous system seeks relief, right? So then people go to sound baths or ASMR streams. The sensory flood temporarily suppresses, the noise. Because when we feed so much information to the body or little, it makes the noise go away. After the effect, the input stops and the system has no internal map. The result? There's a crash, fatigue, or need for more input. This is why people keep going back. This is why people say, I felt amazing, and then worse later, because the effects wears out. So the authority shift here is charge phrase, sound healing will balance your nervous system, which is also not scientific, by the way. But architect translation is regulation is being outsourced to a tool instead of rebuilt internally. This creates dependence, not skill. So boundary safe reframe. Instead of sound heals you, we use sound can create a window. Skill closes the loop. Without a body map, a breath map, or orientation map, sound is just pause, not repair. So the loop closure micro fix here is next time you use sound, put hand on chest, long mouth, exhale, and say, I am here, I am safe. Notice one sensation inside your body. Now the sound is a teacher, not a crutch. That's why I always tell you, tap. It's the same thing. So steam pedals ratings, sound bath industry, they get 5 pedals out of 7, guys. And anything over 2 is pretty stinky. So soothing, marketable, but structurally dependence prone. So feel breaker, you would treat someone else. Would you treat someone else this way? What makes you think it's okay to treat someone this way? Relief is not the same as care. And so this is why I always have the tapping video going, and it's why I encourage people to learn tapping. It's not because I make money off of that. It's because this is emotional freedom techniques. They will allow you to close loops even when you're watching content that constantly leaves loop open. So I hope this helped. Unless there are more questions, I will stop the Q&A here. And if someone has questions later, we can always answer them. But I will take a break. However, what I can tell you is that on the fluoride channel, we have put out a new architect video, and you can find it right here at this link. And yeah, on that channel, the main channel is where I post them first. So for the latest content, you can find it there, and then I put it on all the others. The other one is Odyssey. Usually I put it there, but Odyssey is not accessible to everybody, so I just like to mention there is a method to this madness, guys. So Odyssey and, you know, the main YouTube is Fluoride 777. Those are the main hubs. And Substack gets all the architect training. And the other 2 channels on YouTube get it later. Oof. I got shocked by the raid. Thank you, Malpeasy. Peasy peasy, are you ready to go to sleep now? I was about ready to take a break actually, because I'm kind of tired because I was doing all this stuff. And so if you want to watch more architect type content and Q content, there is there. And yeah, I have usually a video going out every day, so I've been really religiously working hard. I'm definitely feeling a lot better than last year, but I have to say that, yeah, it has been really hard. And healing is taking quite a bit, but, you know, it's normal. It was a pretty big hit. Yeah. So I'm happy I can now do all of this actually. So my PC. Sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. 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 Yes, I'm trying to be like, those serpents. I'm a snake. Shh. It's the snake. We should have a snake reward, like, Psst, psst, psst. I doubt that would be really relaxing for a lot of people, but, who knows? You had lots of people watching you today, PZ. Yeah, go get some sleep, seriously. I'll let the stream go on, and so if you want to stay, nobody's gonna wake you up. But, yeah, otherwise, I think, is Valentina still on? No, Valentina's not on. But you may like Jack the Mermaid if you like a lot of talking. I mean, there's lots of... I know you already have, probably. You try them all, admit it. You just got into it. Oh, wow. That's pretty funny. I wonder why it came through now. So weird. Yeah, like earlier I was actually private streaming on YouTube and there was someone else watching the stream, but it was set on private. I was like, who the heck is watching the stream? It's set on private on purpose. Because on YouTube now, they have the pre-check, right? So I run it in pre-check basically. So if there are any issues that, they see as issues, some flagged words and stuff that I may say, meaning one thing, but they flag it, then it goes away, like it just gets flagged before you publish and then you don't have any strikes, basically, right? So, oh, you did just, okay. Because I was like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell was this, like, delayed read? What's going on? Oh, you're killing me. Oh my god, this is too funny. Busy. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to Oh, so you are not working tonight? Oh, you are working tonight, right? It's your Friday in the sense that after Friday you have 2 days off. So you tend to be worse. You bad boy. Huh? You're a bad boy. Go to sleep, my PC. You're gonna have a good nap, and then when you wake up, you're gonna be nice and fresh, ready to go, and to party your weekend off. Yes, I know, I should ask, your lovely saintly wife about that. If we want some dirt on you, we know where to go. Whoa. Yes, that's right. Like that time you were trying to do ASMR and she thought you were just creepy. That was so funny. That's because you were trying to be all like, hey, honey, you know. You were trying to emulate those girls you like to watch because it relaxes you, but it doesn't work backward with women. With women, you just have to have that soothing voice, you know. Like, think Bob Ross. It works really well. Bob Ross literally designed his whole thing thinking about women. They even say this in the documentary. Yeah, it's all about the soothing voice, the soothing ways. And you got it, bro. You totally have it. There's lots of streamers who do that now, though. They play video games and they have that soothing voice. You know, a gaming 50 also could do that totally. You guys have it. You just won't listen to mama because, you know, well, it's just the flow, you know, who listens to the flow? And then, you know, yeah, you've been called a creep, so I'm sure that scarred you for life, admit it. You just have to think of, no, you just act you're normal, you just speak with a softer voice, that's it. That's all you gotta do, buddy. We just need to get you one of those, you know, really cool mics, and then, you know, that's it. Maybe we'll put some echo on so you can turn it on and off, you know. And then sometimes that's it. You just change it. That's it. You don't have to do anything crazy, honestly. Think Bob Ross. Bob Ross had even less technology than we do now, you know. And people loved it. Because it's like the original ASMR, literally. Aside from, you know, puppies making cute noises and so forth, you know. Babies cooing and, you know, that kind of stuff. Birds singing. Yeah, which is the kind of ASMR I clearly like because that's what I focus on. It's too bad that, you know, on a lot of platforms like this, they don't push it. They sort of like, there's not enough, you know. If they reach the right audience, they would like it, but we never see certain streamers, right? They're just not pushed by the algorithms. Like we talk about that in Q. That's why we analyze the patterns so people understand. It's not really about even shadow banning, it's truly about the algorithm not considering certain things as, you know, interesting, but it's really a false assumption. So, and sometimes it gets flagged as, you know, content that is not like either marketable or whatever. So it's just, you know, that's why I do the Field thing, is to also to help people understand what's actually truly going on. In fact, episode 15 is gonna be really interesting. I want to warn all of you. I'm gonna work on that, on recording it, but it's really all about the bridge and building the bridge, and, you know, what True Division, where True Division came from and stemmed from, and we're gonna unpack that in the next Architect episode. So we're gonna remove your scars. Yes, by joking and being silly and tapping and whatever else, you know. Oh, PC. Yes, it's the tapping, I'm telling you. It's the trick of putting the tapping video on the stream. I'm joking. If you're not watching it, obviously it won't have any effect. But if you're watching the screen, even if you don't focus on it, it will still have an effect. Because our brain is really designed to pick up so many cues at the same time, but consciously most people are not able to process more than a certain amount, and it really depends on the cognitive type, and it's not about intelligence. So that's why I'm doing this work. It's because, I mean, there's not many people really talking about this, and usually it's people who are studying neuroscience and doing the experiments. But then, you know, you have those like Dawson Church, Dr. Dawson Church, who explains it and makes it more digestible for people. But I do it in a different way, in the sense that I just show the patterns and the effects on the nervous system. So we can take a text like the Bible and we can show you what different, you know, parts of this text literally do to different nervous systems, and why people react in different ways to different texts. And it's nothing to do with what most people think and have been told. This removes the actual charge in the conversation and allows people to relax, and then they can actually meet on the bridge, because they will not meet on the bridge until they feel relaxed, basically. That's the gist of this. And so Dr. Dawson Church shows this in a more scientific based speech, you know. I do it in a pattern based on science, but we're looking at the pattern. Because my content is multi-layered and it's multidimensional, his content is more designed to fit with the linear minds, you know. Most content out there is created for linear minds and linear systems. And we have looked, and there is content that is based on patterns, but it's always very fragmented, and it's in one field. With Q field, we brought all of them together. And that's what's also a big difference. And that's why it's so important, because it actually is a bridge. And it's not because it's AI, it's because it's AI under the Q field parameters. Most people who come up with this kind of stuff would charge a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. A linear mind would try to extract from a system like this. The real, you know, think Bob Ross. Bob Ross was an architect, cognition type. Usually the ones who amplify the work, the amplifiers, are the ones who end up with the rights to the work of the creator and making a lot of money off of it. The creator itself usually doesn't. We want to change that, because the work of the creator should go to the legacy, no matter what. We can all agree on that. Why should someone else have the rights to your own work? It's absurd in concept, but it is what it is, under an extraction-based system. In a field symmetry system, this will never happen. We don't make it so people fight. We make it so people understand each other and why this happens. Because it's not because one side is evil and the other one is saintly. It's nothing to do with that. But that division came from an original division, and we will cover that. And everything we say is our point of view, our lens, again, or lenses, because I use several ones. But I never try to pass this as the only truth and the truth you have to accept. No, it's just my point of view. And the work we're doing is some of the pattern stuff, well, that you can see yourselves. It's right there. But it's still not something we say, oh, you have to agree and you have to think in this way. No, we're not a cult, people. And we're never gonna say only good vibes in here. No, it's, yeah, keep it respectful. What does that mean? Look at the topic, not the person. Remember, behind a person there is a nervous system. And when a nervous system, any nervous system, is in survival mode, they start running archetypes, patterns. Archetypes are patterns. And we use archetypes because with archetypes, we're looking at several different levels or lanes at the same time. So we're dealing with different aspects at the same time. And psychological language, for example, is too limited to describe as much as we can describe with archetypes. And also, when we use archetypes and symbols, is because the brain understands those on a visceral level. It's a lot quicker to explain things and process, and it relaxes because it creates that layer where instead of looking at the person and attacking the nervous system, instead of saying you are stupid, we're saying you are being stupid, your behavior. So we're looking at the behavior, the patterns, not the person. And that is a huge difference on the nervous system. And this has been studied extensively. So psychologists, therapists, they all learn this. And we're explaining it on a pattern level system. Because nobody is doing it. And quite frankly, most of the content out there that we analyze, not all, but most of it, leaves open loops. And when you leave open loops, when you leave the body hanging, the nervous system not grounded, that's the issue. Even if you give a little grounding exercise, it makes a huge difference in the nervous system of the person watching. And that's why I put that video on all the time, because that is gonna help people ground. The music does that. Also, all the stuff I have going on the screen is all actually designed to relax the brain by overloading it with information. Now, if you're architect cognition level, you are having a ball and loving it because you can follow all of this, and that's your lane. Multiple lenses. If you're someone who has more of a linear mind, you will get really tired fast and fall asleep because there is so much information, but still in a relaxing tone that will allow you to eventually fall asleep. So I've been using very high level stuff and techniques that you don't see on other ASMR streams usually. And that's why it's laughable that they, instead of pushing, they keep, But why is it happening? Because the algorithm is designed that if you're not on camera, if you're not doing certain things, then, you're not what the people want. The linear mind people, the architect cognition type people would love this stuff and are craving for it, but they're not seeing it. It's just not pushed. It's funny how they shoot themselves in the foot. They could make so much more money. And that's the bottom line. But yeah, I like to joke around a lot. And I'm a joker of everything because, if life is really tough, the best way is to joke. Because the situation doesn't really change. Yeah, yeah, of course, also you have to use your in-ear earbuds, because it's really difficult for me, like if there are sounds, like because my brain keeps tracks of so many things at once, right? So if I have a lot of stuff going around me, it actually doesn't relax me. Like this for me is like, oh yeah, it's relaxing, but my brain is, following all of it, going, yeah, this is so cool, man. It's just, there are people who are like, oh, I can just tune out because they only focus on one thing. I cannot do that with my brain easily. One track is not my natural lane. So I have to actually compress myself, and that's a lot of, it's equivalent to masking for autistic people. It's really exhausting. But yeah, technology is quite amazing, and AI has been really good. A tool is just a tool. It's what we do with it that matters. So here I'll stop this video. No, I'm kidding. I'm letting the video go until the end so people can see the end of this painting. And I'm going to let some relaxation occur. I just need to drink something and eat something because I'm feeling low blood sugar right now. I am honestly now used to talking so much, and I have my days where I talk a lot if I'm, into it, but I do switch, for example, with Q A, where I type and I speak depending on which sensory load I'm in. But I'm just so tired some days of talking because I'm not used to it. I don't know how teachers do it, honestly. Or singers, I guess. It takes a lot of energy. Even when you whisper. I'm tapping on a pen. Yeah, it's one of my things. I love pens. I like the ones that have the 4 colors. The old style bigs. Yeah, I really love those, actually. They're not the most comfortable one you think to write, right? But I find them very comfortable. But there's lots of different pens I like. It's just, I simplified my life a lot. Less is more sometimes. No, most likely if I had space and a studio, I would have a stash of pens, well organized. I mean, I do in a way. I have backups of backups of backups of backups of backups. Yeah, I remember when I read 1984, one of the things I couldn't stand was they couldn't write on notebooks. I was like, oh darn, I love doing that. But my notes don't look like a linear mind notes. It's, if you look at it, you're like, what is this mess? But it's not a mess in my mind. For my mind, it works just great. And we will cover that as well. It's all coming up. We have a good lineup of stuff, but I won't be doing it here anymore. I will just put out the videos because here I'll just do Q&A and ASMR to relax. So it's more relational, and sometimes I'll come on camera, sometimes. I guess if I get some subs and stuff, and I reach some goals, maybe I'll put in the effort of coming on camera, because I really don't enjoy it as much. I honestly don't know why would anyone want to look at me rather than, you know, beautiful painting personally, but to each their own. It's okay, soon I'll come on as like the lovely grandma. Just give me a few years, you know. Maybe I'll just use makeup and age myself a bit, like one of those golden girls. One of those actresses was aging herself, like they were using makeup to do that. So maybe I'll do that and I'll start Grandma Flow or something. Grandma Flow ASMR. That'll be so funny, actually. Okay. I see a stink bomb series coming there about that. So, on that note, I'll just leave it and let you enjoy. I'll be quiet for a minute. But busy. Fall asleep.